Here we are at Harefield Lake, eagerly anticipating the start of the new season. I'm sitting here talking to a friend of mine, Dave Wibley, about various rigs and baits that I'll be using on this session. Some of these baits and rigs won't work and some will, and I'll talk in a more in-depth way later on in the video to tell you about the baits and rigs that were effective. I've been here for a few hours, putting a little bit of bait out and plumbing. As yet I haven't seen anything. But I know Dave's down the other end of the lake. With the wind blowing this way, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he'd seen some fish down there.
That's right, Rob. I'm fishing down the bottom end of the lake, which is a swim called the hump swim. On one side of the swim is very shallow, probably going up to 18 inches of water. On the other side it deeps off to around about 6 foot. There's about 15 to 20 fish showing in the shallow water at the moment, and whether they'll be there at 12 o'clock, who knows? Because from past experiences, if fish have been in the swim round about a couple of days before the start of the season, they seem to drift out as soon as you cast out at 12 o'clock. But tomorrow is another day, so we'll see what happens then.
That's very true, Dave. Who knows what the morning will have in store for us. Last opening day in the morning, I had more than a bit of luck. I caught Nelson at the lake record weight of 38 pound 4. It was opening morning. I'd recast the baits about 9 AM, and an hour later, around about 10 o'clock, a rod that I'd cast to a bar about 160 yards out, which only had 2.5 foot of water on top of it, absolutely flew off. A flying run that ripped off about 30 yards of line from the reel. Fish then snagged me behind the bars. It was touch and go whether I'd get the fish in at all. Actually, it was that same rig that I'll be showing you later that I caught the fish on, and the same bait. I know that this bait and rig are very effective at Harefield. As I say, I'll show you that later. It was a fantastic fish in immaculate condition at its top weight ever at 38 pound 4. I was elated with the capture. This is my second full season on Harefield. I fished here last year. Here are a few of the fish that I caught. Let's hope we'll be lucky on this trip. But you never know on these pits. We might end up blanking, but that's carp fishing. Well, I shall be casting out at midnight, and I'll let you know how I got on in the morning. June the 16th, the first day of a new season, and what a fantastic day it's been for me today at Harefield. It all started this morning at 6 o'clock. Fantastic run on the left-hand rod that I'd fished across to a far island. A lovely mirror of 20 pound 8 ounces. It's always nice to get the first fish of the season, the pressure's off, and it was a fantastic fish, as I say anyway. couple of hours later, I doubled up with another 21 pound common. There's quite a few 20 pound commons in this lake. It's not unusual to catch them. This was a particularly nice fish. And then again, about 12 o'clock, midday, I had a third fish of 20 pound 6 ounces. This was another mirror. After I left you last night, I baited 2 areas in the lake heavily with liver boilies. And then at 12 o'clock, I positioned the rods, one across to the corner of the island and one out to the third bar, which is approximately 80 yards out. It was this left-hand rod that gave me the first run. I suppose I put out about 500 baits around that area. The wind had changed in the night, and I'm sure that a lot of the fish that were in front of Dave Wibley were brought down to this area. As today, after talking to Dave, he hasn't seen any fish at all, and I've seen quite a few fish out here in front of me. I took that first mirror on the left-hand rod. I was quite amazed that I hadn't had a take on the right-hand rod, as I really fancied this area to produce a fish as it had done in previous visits to the lake. The area I was fishing was just short of the third bar at 80 yards range. There's a lovely marker out there for me which makes casting very accurate, as there's a coot's nest on an exposed part of the bar. An hour or so after catching the mirror, I wound this rod in and found the rig to be tangled. One of the most annoying things in carp fishing, as I'm sure you'll agree, but something I suppose we have to live with. We do everything we can to cut down this, and it's minimal these days, I know. Anyway, I retied the rig and cast it back to the area, and an hour later, another absolutely screaming run. These fish really do take off with the bait when they pick it up. Now, when I first hooked this fish, I thought I'd really got a big kipper on the end. It tore off to the right behind 2 other gravel islands that are out on my right-hand side. With a bit of careful manoeuvring, I managed to get the fish over the 2 bars between me and him. Put a tremendous fight up in the margins. I'm more than happy to return this immaculate £21 common. There were 5 other fish caught opening morning, all from down this end of the lake, but none of the big ones had so far been out. Conditions look really good for down this end, with the wind now hacking down here, and fish were showing regularly in the area of the right-hand rod. It came as no surprise to us when around midday that rod ripped off again and another 20-pounder came to the net. Haulin! This is what it's all about. We don't need to go to France to make a video. £6. Come on, son, back you go. And this time, go and get your dad. Got a mouth a bit like Nelson. He's a bit smaller though, perhaps we'll call him half Nelson. I did lose a 4th fish later on in the afternoon. Managed to get it right into the net and the hook pulled. It was a similar size to the 3 I'd had earlier. Anyway, 320s, what can I say? More than happy. Fantastic day's sport. I've really enjoyed myself. It's been lovely to be here. The session's not over yet. Who knows what we've got in store for us? This is the life, the open air. It's like Boy Scouts. Dib, dib, dib. Fishing next to me is Stuart Gillam. Stuart will probably be more well known to you for his pike fishing, but Stuart's been seriously fishing for carp now for 7 or 8 years and is in fact head bailiff here at Harefield Lake. Earlier on today, Stuart had a lovely common of £22. Well done, mate. I know that Stuart's been using a new item of tackle that eliminates a lot of the problems that people have had with the helicopter rig. I asked Stuart about this earlier.
The helicopter rig's been under a lot of criticism lately regarding its use with leaders where the small bore beads won't go over the leader knot in the event of a break-off. The main design of it is this piece of wire which fits over onto your rig. You have a bead here with a stop knot to stop the wire sliding up and to create your bolt rig effect. At the top of a loop of wire you have a wide loop and a wide bore bead, and if you break off, the fish will swim away, pulling the rig through this eye, which will pass over the leader knot and leave the fish just swimming with the hook and a swivel rather than the lead. This stops a lot of the problems on fisheries where we had fish towing leads and they had become tethered by a heavy lead, and this could kill them or do them a tremendous amount of damage.
When we began this session, I was clipping up tight, but I changed to bait runner in the hope of getting a more instant indication of a pickup. I think this has backfired on me because, as you can see, the hook point is picking up a tremendous amount of siltweed, and I think this is impairing the penetration of the hook. In the last 12 hours I've had 2 aborted takes, and I'm sure this is due to the hook point not being fully penetrated. I've now gone back to clipping up really tight in the hope of overcoming this problem. Because I'm trying to fish to very tight features, very small gravel patches, I'm picking up a bit of the siltweed while retrieving the lead. I'm trying now to cast more accurately to these features so that I don't have to pull back too far, hopefully not pick up any more siltweed on the hook. I'm trying to drop my bait right on the corner of that island. There's a small piece of gravel coming away from there. It drops down, it's 6 inches close to the island, and it drops down to about 2.5 foot. And I've seen fish patrolling close to the island. I've been baiting very accurately to this spot, and hopefully I'll drop this right on top. Perfect. Well, the clipping up certainly worked. After I went hard back in the clip to alleviate the weed problem, I had a tremendous run of fish. Taken 4 fish now. First fish was a 30-pound 2-ounce mirror. Oh, we catch 'em here, we catch 'em there, we catch them mirrors everywhere. Then I had a fish of 29-pound 4, that was also a mirror. Then I had a 25-pound common and a 23-pound 12-ounce mirror. I've been relentlessly putting bait out to the coot's nest area, regardless of whether I was getting action or not. I was a little bit concerned that bait may be stacking up out there on the bottom, but I had been receiving a few rod top knocks, and actually caught a 7-pound bream. I put these rod-top knocks down to the bream, so I was sure that even though there may not be carp in the area, the bream were clearing up the bait. So I kept putting the bait out, kept piling it in every 3 or 4 hours, and it paid off. I took 2 fish from this area, the 30-pound 2, which you're seeing here, and the 25 common.
You're joking. Just over 30.
It's not. 30-pound 2. The other area that I've been fishing on the corner of the island, I've left that alone today. Yesterday evening I saw several fish moving past the corner of the island out towards a clear area between 2 gravel bars. This being only about 15 yards past the area I was fishing, but an entirely different bottom. So I started putting a bit of bait out there in the hope of drawing a few fish in. This has paid off as well. It's a little bit of a tricky area to play the fish from, but by applying heavy side strain, you can manage to get the fish down the side of the islands. This is where I took the 29-pound 4 that you're seeing now, and the 23-pound 14-ounce mirror. I had a little friend of mine bring me some luck a while ago. And he brought me this lovely £25 cob. Go on.
I haven't been alone in the action today. Stuart managed a nice mirror of £26. You'll see this in the video here. Fantastic fish, one of the typical fish of Harefield, very deep fish. Tremendous fight he put up for him there. In fact, Stuart saved the day for us today. All the notes from the video blew in the lake, stripped off straight away, no hesitation, dived straight in. Well done, Stuart. Thanks, mate. I realise this all looks very easy fishing. We're making it look easy. But there's over 50 anglers on the lake here today, and there's only been one other fish caught, a fish of £8. So the baiting up the finding of the areas, the right rig and the right bait has paid off for me and Stuart. Let's just hope some of the other lads have a bit of luck as well. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little about the history of Harefield Lake. Never has there been a lake with such a varied history in carp fishing. In the late 70s and early 80s, it was being fished by some of the top carp anglers in the country today. Peter Springate, Kenny Hodder, Rod Hutchinson, Paul Gummer, Curly Hatchman, all fished Harefield Lake. At that time, there was only 20 or so fish in the lake, so bites were few and far between. Boyer Leisure, who have the control of several lakes in this area, decided that they would close down two of their fisheries, Willow Pool and Rodney Meadow. Here we have some unique footage taken on an amateur video recorder of the netting of Rodney Meadow. Seine netting was used for the main part of the lake, and electrofishing for the snaggy areas and any deeper pools that were left. And it was in fact Dougal, who is now fishery manager of Harefield, that carried out these nettings and electrofishings. The fish were transferred to Harefield Lake in tanks on the back of a truck. And many of the large fish that are in here today came from those two fisheries. There are still a few of the original fish left. It's a job to know exactly how many fish are now here in Harefield. But at a guess, I would say we were looking at about 15 30s, at least 50 fish over 25 pound, and quite a few back up low 20s. Many of the 30s are well known in angling papers and in the magazines. Some have been featured in Big Carp. The largest fish known in the lake is Nelson, who at his biggest weight came out last winter at 40 pounds 2 ounces. That fish up to now hasn't been caught, but we're hopeful that we'll get it. Other than that, there's a fully scaled of around 35 pound, two fish known as the orange fish and little pecks, both around 35 pounds, gut bucket at 34 pounds, and a few others. There's 4 known 30 pound commons in the lake. Here you can see Steve Briggs with little pecks at 35 pound and another fish of 25 pound. Here's Steve Alcott with the fully scaled at 35 pounds 4 ounces. And here are 3 of the 30 pound commons, although they were only 29 pound an ounces when I caught them. It's certain that this stocking policy carried out by Boyers has made Harefield one of the best carp fisheries in the country. And although Peter Springate and Rod Hutchinson don't fish here now, many of the country's top carp anglers do. All of the famous five: Steve Alcott, Phil Harper, Dave Wibley, Martin Locke, Colin Martin, Steve Briggs. We'd better take this opportunity to tell you about today's fishing. It's got a break in the rain now. It's been a dreadful day, really. Heavens opened up, typical of the English summers, and we've had a thunderstorm and lightning. Earlier on though, it was a lovely morning. Around about 9 o'clock, took a nice mirror of 29 pound through the gap between the islands. Fish picked up the bait and tore off around the back of the two little islands out to the right of the swim. A devil's own job to pull him back from behind there, but eventually got him back. Now, it's not a known fish, this one. A lot of the fish in here around the 25, 26 pound mark last year are getting up around the 28s and 29s now, so I'd guess it's one of those. Anyway, it's a nice fish and I'm well pleased with it. Big old lump. Go on, baby. I've always been keen on the nature around the lake when I'm fishing, keeping my eye out for any kingfishers or anything like that that come by. It's a very wild place down here, despite being so close to built-up areas, and there's some quite rare birds down here actually. Just out on the islands in front of me, I've got little ring plover. It's not the ring plover, but the little ring plover, which is a lot rarer species. And there's 2 or 3 pairs on the lake at the moment, and they've been visiting us throughout our session here. On the second island, on the right of me swim, got a common tern's nest. The female's been sitting since we've been here and been watching it through binoculars. And the cockbird has been defending the female on the nest. Any birds that have come flying over, in particular the herons, been mobbing it up in the air. Quite spectacular air battles. The old heron rearing its neck up, fighting off the common tern. Other than that, of course, we've got Canadian geese. They've been a right pest down here. I've got a taste for the boilies now, and as soon as you start putting them out, they come straight in on the boilies. The nuisance then. We've got mallards, tufted ducks, coots. We had a cormorant down here yesterday, sitting out on the island there, shaking its wings in the sun. Well, this is all part of the fishing to me, even when action's slow. There's always plenty to see, and you can enjoy yourself just looking at the bird life around the lake. Getting runs is nice, but even so, if you keep your eyes out, you can see some wonderful things on the lakes. Morning. We're all a bit bleary-eyed this morning after the barbecue last night. It was a bit of a social event and it went on till the early hours of the morning with a few beers. But we've had a bit to celebrate this week. Had some good times. Well, yesterday, it could have been my best day ever, but I'd made arrangements to go away for a few hours at dinner time to meet the family. Today's Father's Day, so you have to do these sort of things. I mean, fishing's not everything, and do miss the family when you're away for a few days. In the morning, fish were jumping all over me baits. They were really in here in big numbers. I started off in the morning with a fish of 18.5 pounds. That was a 9:30. I knew that I'd got to be off to meet the family at 11, so I quickly cast the same bait back to the same area where the fish were showing, the area between the two gravel islands. And I had a second fish of 21 pounds. Then I went off and down the pub with the wife and kids. A smashing time. They gave me my Father's Day card, which I've got to open this morning.
Haulin!
Came back about 4, cast back, same area, the fish was still there. We all sat there together looking at the fish, roared off again. Had a third fish, 29 pound 1. It's the third 29 so far.
for some hauling, lads.
And then later on in the evening, Dougal and his family came down just to see how we were getting on. And he was fortunate enough to see me catch the fourth fish of the day, 18 3/4 pound common. Lovely fish, absolutely immaculate.
Yeah, it's a big fishy. Maybe Uncle Rob will bring him over here and let you see him in a minute.
I know that a lot of the younger anglers watching this video will want to know what sort of tackle I've been using. So we'll have a quick look round at the bits and pieces I use. The larger items such as bivvies, rucksacks and rod holdalls, I use Kevin Nash. A bed's very important, you want to be comfortable on these long sessions, so I use the Fox Deluxe bed chair. Now, you've seen me do a fair bit of baiting up during this session. Baiting up accurately is a very important part of gravel pit fishing. I use the Jumbo Cobra. This takes baits up to about 20 mil in size, which is the size I'm using. Combined with the Boilie Caddy. This is a fairly new item. Straps around your waist. Your boilies are to hand, so you can keep accuracy and rhythm when you're putting a lot of bait out. If you've got to start reaching down for bait, you lose your position of where the last bait landed. The buzzers I'm using are the new Fox Micron SXs. Absolutely faultless. The rods I'm using, these are the Leslie's Extreme Pursuits. So they're my own range of rods that I do through Leslie's. 13 foot, £2 10 ounce, so they're slightly over £2 10 ounce, probably nearer £3. Perfect for this sort of distance work. The reels I'm using on this session are the Shimano Aero bait runners. Now I use these reels for fishing anything up to 120 yards. If I'm fishing over 120 yards, I would use the Daiwa 3000 SS. This is a real extreme range reel, and I can cast anywhere up to 160 yards with this reel, fishing 10 Drennan Specimen Plus with a 20 Drennan leader. Because we're only fishing distances of 80 or 90 yards, I've got these reels filled up with 16-pound Drennan Specimen Plus. It's a very abrasive resistant line. I haven't had any problems with it at all, and obviously that's important when you're fishing these gravel pits with sharp gravel bars. Buoy Leisure are very conscientious about carp safety when on the bank, and unhooking mats are compulsory. This is the one I'm using from Twilight Tackle. It's got a velcroed flap that folds over the top of the fish, and you can seal it down so that when you're looking for your scales and camera, the fish is in complete safety. It's always advisable to have somebody else with you though, just to keep an eye on the fish. It's been quite a slow start on Harefield. There's actually been around about 30 fish out so far. I've been fortunate enough to catch 12 of them. I know that many of the anglers have now gone home. My good friend Dave Wibley, he went with another blank under his belt. I'm sure he'll come up trumps in the end, he always does.